jock-like way, but I spent so much time on the fields, the court, and in the weight room that I hardly saw them during the school year. That changed too. Sous Chef Paul stuck his head out the back door. The apron over his shoulder meant he was done for the night. He said, "Dude, it's champagne time." "Be right in," I said. Julia, I loved her. I hated her. I was furious, crushed. Most of all, I missed her. She was still everywhere in this restaurant. She would haunt it and me forever. This left me with the only thing I knew for certain. Sometimes you jump up, and when you land, your world has changed. I took a last drag on my cigarette and flicked it as far as I could, watching the ember arc into fresh snow. Chapter 1. Cleveland, 1980. Roger and Johnny kidnapped me on the last Saturday of June. Roger's car idled innocently in my driveway at 5:20, just as I arrived home from my job at Heinen's, where I bagged groceries and loaded them into cars. My first genuine job. I was still the only one without a driver's license, but that would change in 2 days when I turned 16. "Theo Mickey D's!" Roger shouted like a ringside announcer, extending the D's in a false baritone. They loved McDonald's. I did not, but Roger and Johnny would keep my mind off Heather for a while. I could join them, not eat, and be back in time for the dinner I was looking forward to making. A rib steak on the grill and a baked potato heaped with butter, along with The Love Boat and Fantasy Island on television. If I were going to be miserable and alone, I would at least eat well. "I need to be back by 7, I said. "Let me go change." Roger pumped his fist and said, "Yes!" I said hi to Mom and Dad, who were already dressing to go out, told them what I was doing, and closed the door to my room. I changed from my khakis and blue Oxford with the Heinen's logo on it into a bright red shirt to cheer myself up. Try, anyway. Some well-worn white painter's pants and old topsiders, the right sole held to the shoe with duct tape. "Well, look at Mr. Artsy Fartsy," Johnny said as I climbed into the back seat of Roger's Buick Skylark. Johnny, who never veered from starched white button-downs, faded jeans, and Jack Purcell sneakers, embraced preppiness as if it were a kind of platonic ideal. The look fit with his short blonde hair, always neatly parted on the right above his light blue eyes. "You'd have Brooks Brothers dress the entire country if you could," I said. "Not a bad idea." Roger laughed as he backed out of the driveway. "How would you tell anyone apart?" "By innate personality," Johnny said. "The idea that you need to express yourself through your clothing is ridiculous." "Isn't that exactly what you're doing by dressing preppy?" Roger asked. "Clothes can't help but reflect our personality." "Exactly. Which is why your school dress code is a good thing. It puts everybody on the same plane to shine or not based on who they are, not by what they wear." This was always the big reason students at U.S. University School lobbied the school to relax its dress code, which it never did. We still had to wear a coat and tie to morning assembly and to lunch. Otherwise, no jeans, t-shirts, or sneakers, which meant the standard attire was corduroys and Oxford cloth shirts, and either LL Bean Bluchers, topsiders, or wallabies. Roger had been the first person to befriend me when I arrived at U.S. in 7th grade. He had dark curly hair and a lightning white smile, which he used like a tool. I hadn't wanted to leave all my friends who went to public school to go to a stuck-up private school, an all-boys school no less. I think the only reason they let me in was because my dad had graduated from the school a million years ago. I certainly wasn't very good at the school part. Luckily, it was harder to get kicked out once you were in. I grew a full 6 inches in 8th grade and became one of the best athletes in my class. U.S. cared about its sports teams, so I was pretty sure they wouldn't kick me out for crummy grades now that I was going to be a junior starting varsity in 3 sports. Johnny was also my best friend, had been so since 1st grade at Fernway Elementary. I'd introduced him to Roger, and now they were almost better friends than I was with either of them. "You're the conformist," I said to Johnny. "Who's going to go further?" Johnny said. Johnny was always up to no good, but he never got caught on account of looking so clean-cut and innocent. He once broke into the local AMP through an